How Islam teaches self-discipline and success. What if I told you the biggest battle you'll ever fight isn't against the world, but against yourself? And what if I told you that Islam gives you the exact weapons to win that battle and unlock success in this life and the next? Think about it. Everyone talks about success, but how many talk about the inner discipline it takes to achieve it? Islam is not just a religion. It's a training ground, a system, a blueprint for mastering yourself. Let me open the first door. Door 1, fasting. Think of Ramadan. 30 days of saying no to food, drink, and even your strongest desires. While the world around you says, indulge. That's not starvation. That's strength training. It's teaching you, if I can control my hunger, I can control my habits. If I can resist temptation, I can resist failure. Now ask yourself, if you can say no to water in the heat of the day, what else could you conquer in life? Laziness, procrastination, fear, 5 times a day. No excuses. Whether you're busy, tired, or in the middle of your grind, you stop. Because success without discipline is chaos. Prayer resets your compass. It teaches consistency. It reminds you your time doesn't own you. You own your time. Imagine the power of structuring your life the way prayer structures your day. Small actions, repeated, relentlessly. That's not just worship, that's success strategy. So here's the VIP truth. Success is not out there waiting. It's already within you. And Islam is the roadmap to unlock it. Walk the path. Train the soul, live with discipline, and watch how the doors of success open. Not just for this world, but forever. Because you, my friend, are not ordinary. You are chosen to succeed. The greatest battle is self-mastery, and Islam equips you with tools to win it. Fasting builds willpower and control over desires. Prayer teaches consistency, discipline, and time mastery. Charity frees you from greed and brings blessings back. Islam's practices are like a gym for the soul, training discipline through repeated action. True success is not external. It begins with inner discipline rooted in faith. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. No crowd, no competition, no outside noise. Just you. And the reflection staring back isn't the person you show the world. It's the version of you that struggles with temptation, procrastination, fear, and weakness. That's the real battlefield. The greatest enemy is not the economy, not your boss, not even your circumstances. It's that inner voice that whispers, skip it, do it tomorrow. Nobody's watching. And that's why Islam begins its training not on the outside, but on the inside. The very first command is not to change the world, it's to master yourself. Think of the verse from the Quran where Allah says, indeed, the soul is ever inclined to evil except those upon whom my Lord has mercy. It's raw honesty. Left unchecked, the human soul leans toward laziness, indulgence, shortcuts. That's not weakness. It's reality. And success begins with recognizing that reality. You can't fight an enemy you don't acknowledge. Once you do, Islam steps in like a guide, a mentor, a coach. It doesn't shame you for having desires. It gives you strategies to rise above them. Picture Ramadan again. Day 1. Your throat is dry, your stomach growls, and every fiber of your body screams for relief. You glance at the clock. Hours left. The fridge is only a few steps away. But you say no. Not because anyone is holding your hand. Not because there's a penalty fee. But because deep inside, you've made a contract with Allah. That's self-mastery in its purest form. In a world where billions of dollars are spent to make you click, scroll, buy, eat, binge, here you are saying no with nothing but willpower and faith. That is not ordinary. That is extraordinary. And it doesn't end with fasting. Self-discipline shows up in every corner of Islam. Take prayer. The call echoes, and maybe you're in the middle of work or curled up in bed or deep into a conversation. Your mind whispers, later. You can delay it. But something deeper whispers back, no. Now, that moment right there is the battle. Nobody sees it. But every time you win it, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. Isn't that what success really is? Winning private battles long before public victories. The Prophet Muhammad once said, "The strong man is not the one who can wrestle others. The strong man is the one who controls himself when angry." Think about that. True strength isn't about muscles or dominance. It's about restraint, holding your tongue when insulted, staying calm when provoked, choosing dignity when every bone in your body wants revenge. That's the kind of strength that builds empires, not out there, but inside here. Now imagine two people walking into an exam room. One has spent nights scrolling endlessly, giving in to every distraction. The other has trained themselves to say no, to focus, to discipline their time. Both face the same questions, the same challenge. Who walks out successful? The one who fought their inner battle first. Life is no different. Opportunities, challenges, hardships, they come to everyone. But the one who has mastered themselves walks out victorious. And let's be honest, it isn't easy. Even the most disciplined among us stumble. That's why Islam makes self-discipline a lifelong journey, not a one-time event. Every prayer is a reminder. Every fast is a renewal. Every act of charity is a reset. It's as if Allah knows we will slip, so He designed a system to pull us back again and again. That's mercy. That's training. That's love. Sometimes people think self-discipline means restriction, like being locked inside rules. But in truth, it's the opposite. Discipline is freedom. The one who cannot control their desires is enslaved by them. The one who cannot stop scrolling is trapped by the device in their hand. The one who cannot resist temptation is chained to it. But the one who learns to master themselves, the one who can say no, becomes unstoppable. Free, limitless. You've seen it in small moments. The athlete who wakes before dawn to train. The student who studies while others sleep. The parent who sacrifices comfort for their children's future. These are all glimpses of self-discipline. But Islam elevates it beyond worldly success. It ties every act of discipline to something eternal. When you fast, it's not just to build willpower, it's to earn closeness to Allah. When you pray, it's not just structure, it's alignment with the divine. When you restrain your anger, it's not just calmness, it's strength that echoes in the sight of your Creator. So the battlefield is here. Quiet, invisible, internal. And every time you resist, every time you choose discipline over desire, every time you master yourself in private, you are writing the story of your success. Not just for this life, but forever. Imagine a day in your life without structure. You wake up late, you rush, you eat on the go, you try to catch up with work. You scroll through your phone, you delay important things until tomorrow. Hours blur into hours, and before you know it, another day slips away. You had plans, you had dreams, but without structure, time becomes like sand slipping through your fingers. Now, compare that to a life shaped by prayer. 5 times a day, a reminder cuts through the noise. Dawn, noon, afternoon, sunset, night. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a business meeting, in traffic, or deep into your rest. Prayer calls you back. It tells you pause, realign, breathe. That rhythm alone is transformative. Think of the power of waking before dawn. The world is silent, the streets are empty, even your phone is asleep. You rise, you wash, and you stand in prayer. Your day begins not with chaos, but with clarity. How different would your life look if every morning started with peace instead of panic? The Prophet Muhammad said, "The 2 rakahs of Fajr are better than the world and everything in it." Imagine that. Just 2 simple units of prayer worth more than all the gold, fame, and success this world could ever offer. And yet, how often do we trade that treasure for a few more minutes of sleep? Discipline in prayer isn't about ritual, it's about consistency. And consistency is the quiet secret behind every success story you've ever heard. The athlete who becomes a champion doesn't train once a month. The student who tops their class doesn't study when they feel like it. Success comes from small actions repeated with discipline. Prayer is Islam's way of ingraining that principle into your soul, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. because that's when discipline is born. Picture yourself in the middle of a busy day. You're deep in work, stress mounting, deadlines closing in. The call to prayer echoes, you step away. For a moment, you disconnect from the chaos of the world and reconnect with the one who controls it. You bow, you prostrate, you whisper your fears to the one who listens. And when you return, you're lighter, sharper, more focused. Prayer doesn't steal time from you. It gives time back to you. It's like hitting reset on your mind and heart 5 times a day. Who wouldn't be more productive, more focused, more grounded with that rhythm guiding them? There's a quote from one of the scholars: "The one who protects their prayer, Allah protects their life. The one who wastes their prayer, Allah wastes their life." It sounds intense, but think about it. When you protect prayer, you're protecting discipline, protecting focus, protecting purpose. When you lose prayer, you lose direction. It's like a ship drifting at sea without a compass. Where do you go? How do you know? Sometimes people ask, why 5 times? Isn't once enough? But success doesn't come from a single effort. Imagine trying to stay fit by exercising once a week. Imagine trying to build a business by showing up when you feel like it. Repetition isn't punishment, it's power. 5 times a day, you're re-centered. 5 times a day, you're pulled back from distraction. 5 times a day, you're reminded of who you are, why you're here, and who you're ultimately returning to. That's not excess, that's mercy. And prayer doesn't just build discipline, it teaches time mastery. Every prayer has its window. Miss it and it's gone. You can't make it up the same way. That urgency forces you to organize your life around what matters, not squeeze prayer into the leftover cracks. Success in life follows the same principle. If you don't prioritize, you procrastinate. If you don't schedule, you scatter. But when you live with prayer as your anchor, time bends to your discipline. Your meetings, your meals, your rest, all of it finds its place around the spine of your day worship. Now think about the spiritual weight of bowing 5 times daily. You're not just disciplining your time, you're disciplining your ego. Every time you place your forehead on the ground, you crush pride, you tame arrogance, you remind yourself, no matter how successful I become, I am still a servant. And isn't humility one of the greatest marks of true success? The world may see the mansion, the car, the title, but Allah sees the forehead on the ground, whispering His name in the dark of night. There's a story of a man who once asked a scholar how he could find blessing in his work. The scholar answered, "Oh, guard your prayers, and Allah will guard your work." That's the secret Islam keeps repeating. Worldly success is not divorced from spiritual discipline. They feed each other. A disciplined soul produces a disciplined life, and a disciplined life builds both worldly achievement and eternal reward. So every time the call to prayer is made, it's not just an invitation to worship, it's an invitation to success. It's Allah saying, pause, come back, recenter, remember why you're here, and the more you respond, the more your life begins to align, like a chaotic puzzle finally snapping into place. The scattered pieces of time, energy and effort all find order under the rhythm of prayer. And in that rhythm, discipline is born and success quietly follows. Imagine holding a crisp bill in your hand. You earned it. You worked hard for it. Your mind instantly starts racing. What can I buy? What can I enjoy? What can I keep for myself? And then Islam whispers something radical. Give some of it away. Not to people who can repay you. Not to someone who can offer you favors in return, but to those who may never be able to give you anything back. It feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? The world tells you to hold tighter, to stack higher, to guard your wealth with both fists. But Islam tells you the secret is the opposite: let it go. Because charity isn't just about money, it's about mastery. It's about proving to yourself that you own your wealth. It doesn't own you. Think of the first time you gave something away that you truly loved. Maybe it was money you had saved, maybe it was food from your plate, Maybe it was time from your busy schedule. There's that small moment of hesitation, almost like a tug of war inside your chest. Part of you says, keep it, you'll need it. Another part whispers, give it, trust Allah. And when you give, that second voice wins. That is the soul being set free. That is self-discipline dressed in generosity. The Qur'an says, you will never attain righteousness until you spend from that which you love. Notice, it doesn't say give from what you don't need, from what you can't use, from your leftovers. It says give from what you love, because that's where the struggle is. Anyone can give away what doesn't matter to them. True discipline is when you open your hand, even when your heart wants to close it. That's when giving becomes transformative. Imagine a wealthy businessman. His accounts are full, his investments growing, yet his heart is restless. He keeps chasing more, but satisfaction never comes. Then picture another man with modest income. He feeds a hungry neighbor, supports an orphan, contributes quietly to the masjid. His wallet may not be heavy, but his heart is at peace. Which one is truly rich? Islam shifts the definition of wealth. The Prophet Muhammad said, richness is not having many possessions. Richness is being content with oneself, and charity is the training ground for that contentment. When you give, you are telling yourself, I am not defined by my possessions. I can let go, I can share, I can trust that what leaves my hand doesn't leave my life. It comes back multiplied in ways I can't even predict. And haven't you seen it? The moments you gave something up for the sake of Allah, only to find doors opening in your life that you never imagined. That job offer, that sudden relief from a problem, that unexpected kindness when you needed it most. Charity doesn't decrease wealth. It multiplies it in ways spreadsheets cannot measure. Think of Zakat, the mandatory charity. Why would Allah make giving an obligation? Because He knows our attachment to wealth can enslave us. He knows money is not just currency, it's power, status, security. And if left unchecked, it can consume us. So Zakat becomes a purifier, like a detox for the soul. Every year, you cleanse yourself of greed. You remind yourself that your wealth is not just yours, it's a trust. Some of it belongs to the poor, the orphan, the traveler, the struggling student. By giving, you keep your heart soft, your soul humble, your priorities clear. And then there's sadaqah, the voluntary charity, that quiet act no one sees, the coin slipped into a beggar's hand, the bag of groceries left at someone's door, the smile you offer, which the Prophet said is itself charity. These acts may look small, but their impact is enormous. Sometimes the person receiving your help doesn't just get food or money. They get hope. They get proof that they're not forgotten. They get strength to keep going one more day. And you, the giver, you get a soul polished by generosity, a heart trained in discipline, and blessings that ripple far beyond what you can see. The discipline of charity is not just about learning to let go. It's about learning to live bigger than yourself. Because success in Islam is never a solo journey. It's not about how high you rise alone, but about how many you lift with you. True success is measured by impact, not just income. And giving ensures that your success isn't selfish, but shared. So next time you hold that bill in your hand, feel that tug of war inside. Remember that every act of giving is more than a transaction. It's a transformation. It's a reminder that your wealth is temporary, but the impact of your generosity is eternal. And when you choose to give, when you discipline your soul to release instead of hoard, you step into a success that money alone could never buy. You step into freedom, into blessing, into a kind of richness that doesn't fade when the markets crash, because it's written where no loss can reach in the sight of Allah. Picture a person with a beautiful house, a shiny car, and a bank account that seems endless. From the outside, you'd think they have it all, but look closer. Their nights are restless, their thoughts are heavy, and no amount of money seems to fill the emptiness inside. Now picture someone else. Their home is small, their income modest, but when they speak, There's peace in their voice and light in their eyes. You feel calm just being around them. What's the difference? It's not the size of their wealth, but the state of their heart. And charity is the secret that unlocks that peace. Islam doesn't just teach you how to earn money, it teaches you how to be free from it. When you part with wealth for the sake of Allah, something profound happens inside you. That invisible chain between your heart and your possessions begins to loosen. You realize that money is a tool, not a master. You realize that success is not about how much you keep, but how much you can give without fear. The Prophet Muhammad said, charity does not decrease wealth. It almost sounds impossible. How can giving away make you richer? But anyone who has tasted the sweetness of giving knows it's true. Wealth may leave your hand, but it returns in blessings, in barakah, in doors opening you didn't even knock on. Think about the discipline it takes to give when you feel like holding tight. Imagine you receive your salary after weeks of hard work. Bills are waiting, plans are forming, desires are whispering. And then you set aside a portion, not for yourself, but for someone in need. Your mind may scream, "You can't afford this," but your faith whispers back, "You can't afford not to." That act of giving is more than generosity. It's training. It's teaching your soul to rise above greed, above fear, above the illusion that money is the source of security. Because true security doesn't come from numbers in a bank account. It comes from trust in Allah. Look at the story of Abu Bakr, when the Prophet asked the companions to give for the sake of Allah. Umar came with half his wealth, proud and eager. Abu Bakr came with everything. When asked what he left for his family, he replied, "I left them Allah and His Messenger." That wasn't recklessness. It was discipline at the highest level. It was proof that his heart was not enslaved by gold or silver, but free, anchored only to faith. And history shows us that freedom produced greatness. Even in smaller acts, the discipline of giving transforms you. Think of a day when you buy a meal not for yourself, but for someone who hasn't eaten. Or when you slip a little cash into the hand of a struggling worker. Or when you sponsor a child's education in a faraway land. The smile you ignite, the hope you restore, the prayers whispered for you in private, these are treasures that no vault can store. And with every act, your heart learns again. Wealth is meant to flow, not to stagnate. Like water, it only gives life when it moves. There's a beautiful irony here. The more you give, the less attached you become to wealth. And the less attached you are, the more free you feel. Meanwhile, the one who hoards, who clings, who counts every penny with fear, lives trapped. They may appear rich, but inside they are poor. Islam frees you from that prison by commanding charity, by making giving part of your identity, until generosity becomes second nature. And beyond personal freedom, giving creates success that outlives you. Imagine a tree planted with your charity. Long after you're gone, its shade cools a traveler, its fruit feeds a family, its wood warms a home. Imagine a well you funded in a remote village. Every drop drunk is a prayer written in your favor. Imagine a masjid you helped build. Every word of Qur'an recited, there is an investment in your hereafter. This is wealth multiplied in a currency that never crashes, never inflates, never devalues. When you live with charity, you live bigger than yourself. Your success becomes a river that nourishes others. And the beauty is, you don't lose in the process, you gain. You gain hearts, you gain prayers, you gain freedom, and above all, you gain the pleasure of Allah. The Quran says, whatever you give in charity, He will replace it, and He is the best of providers. That's not just a promise. It's a guarantee from the one who owns the treasures of the heavens and the earth. So every time you open your hand, remind yourself, it isn't money leaving you, it's chains breaking. It isn't wealth decreasing, it's blessings multiplying. It isn't loss, it's liberation. And the more you practice this discipline, the more you discover that the richest person is not the one who has the most, but the one who can give the most. Because their heart is already full. Imagine walking into a gym for the first time. The weights look heavy, the machines intimidating, and every movement feels awkward. But you keep showing up. Day after day, you lift, you sweat, you strain. At first, the progress is invisible, but slowly, your body begins to change. Muscles form, stamina builds, strength rises. What once felt impossible becomes effortless. That is the nature of training. Islam works in the same way, except the gym is life itself, and the training is for your soul. Every command, every act of worship, every discipline is a repetition, building inner strength you cannot always see, but that transforms you from within. Think of fasting again. The first day of Ramadan feels like lifting the heaviest weight. Your body protests, your head pounds, your patience runs thin. But you push through. By the second week, your rhythm builds. Hunger no longer controls you. Thirst no longer weakens you. Desires no longer define you. You've grown stronger without realizing it. That is resistance training for the soul. Just as muscles grow when pushed against resistance, your spirit grows when pushed against desire. The more you resist, the stronger you become. And when you come out of Ramadan, you realize you've been training all along, not just to go without food, but to go without weakness. Prayer is another exercise. 5 times a day, no excuses. Some days it feels easy, like light stretching. Other days it feels heavy, like dragging yourself under a barbell. But you show up, and that showing up again and again teaches consistency. It ingrains discipline into your bones, like an athlete repeating drills until they become second nature. Prayer drills into you the habit of turning to Allah, no matter how distracted you are. And over time, you realize prayer isn't just worship, it's a workout plan for your character. Each bow bends your ego. Each prostration grounds your pride. Each repetition shapes you into someone stronger than before. Charity works the same way. Every time you give, it stings a little. The tug of war between holding and letting go feels like pulling weight against gravity. But the more you give, the lighter it gets. At first, you calculate, you hesitate, you wonder if you'll have enough left. But then you witness the blessing, the doors opening, the peace filling your heart. And giving becomes easier, almost natural. Like the athlete who grows to love the burn of training. The believer grows to love the release of giving. Even the struggles of life, hardships, tests, setbacks, are part of this spiritual gym. Think of anger. When someone insults you, your first instinct is to strike back. But the Prophet Muhammad said, "The strong man is not the one who can wrestle, but the one who controls himself when angry." Controlling your anger is like holding a heavy weight steady. Your muscles shake, your body strains, but the more you practice, the steadier you get. The same applies to patience in trials. Every difficulty you endure without breaking is another rep, another set, another layer of strength added to your soul. And just like physical training, results come with consistency. No one becomes strong overnight. No one becomes disciplined in a single act. It's the accumulation of small efforts, repeated endlessly, that builds greatness. That's why Islam's practices are not one-time rituals, but lifelong routines. Prayer isn't annual, it's daily. Fasting isn't random, it's regular. Charity isn't optional, it's recurring. Every act is designed to keep you training, because without constant practice, discipline fades. Think about the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet They were not born extraordinary, they were shaped by discipline. Years of prayer at night, fasting by day, giving until they had almost nothing left. These weren't one-off acts. They were daily workouts of the soul. And through that training, they transformed from ordinary men and women into the strongest generation in history. Their strength wasn't in numbers or weapons, but in discipline that could not be broken. Now look at your own life. How many battles are lost simply because discipline wasn't there? How many dreams were abandoned because excuses won? How many opportunities slipped away because desires ruled? Islam, in its wisdom, doesn't leave you at the mercy of weakness. It builds you slowly, methodically, through repetition. It forces you to push against resistance until strength becomes natural. It trains you until discipline is no longer a burden, but a part of who you are. So the next time you fast, the next time you rise for prayer when it's hard, the next time you give when it hurts, remember, you're not just doing a ritual. You're training. You're lifting the weights of your soul. And with every rep, with every act, with every repetition, you're building something invisible but unshakable. Because when discipline meets faith, the result is not just success in this world, but eternal strength in the next. ChatGPT said, close your eyes for a moment and imagine chasing success the way the world defines it. You study harder, you work longer, you sacrifice weekends, you climb ladders. You finally get that promotion, that degree, that recognition. For a while, it feels like victory. But soon, the satisfaction fades and the hunger returns. You set a new goal, a bigger target, and the cycle continues. Success feels like water in your hands. You can hold it for a moment, but it slips away, leaving you thirsty again. Now imagine a different kind of success. One that doesn't fade. One that doesn't depend on applause. One that fills you so deeply that even when the world is noisy, your heart is still. That success begins inside, and Islam teaches that it is built not on wealth, not on titles, not on applause, but on discipline rooted in faith. Think of a mountain climber. From the bottom, the peak looks impossible. The path is steep, the rocks sharp, the climb exhausting. Many turn back halfway, content with a partial view. But the climber who has trained, who has disciplined themselves, who keeps going step by step, eventually stands on the summit. The world below looks small, and the air above feels pure. Life works the same way. Everyone wants the view from the top, but only those who discipline their souls reach it. And Islam provides the tools: fasting, prayer, charity, patience, not as rituals alone, but as the climbing ropes and steady steps that carry you upward. True success in Islam isn't just about arriving at a destination. It's about who you become along the way. The Prophet Muhammad once said, "The most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even if small." Notice how he didn't say the biggest deeds, or the loudest, or the most public. He said consistent, because consistency shapes character. A single act can impress, but repeated acts transform. Reading one page of Qur'an every night may not look like much, but after a year, that's hundreds of pages. Giving a small coin in charity daily may seem insignificant, but in the eyes of Allah, it builds mountains of reward. Waking for Fajr each morning may feel like a small victory, but over years it carves out a disciplined soul that knows how to rise above excuses. Think of the people you admire most, not just famous figures, but those in your own life. Maybe it's a parent who sacrificed quietly, a teacher who showed up every single day, a friend who always kept their word. What makes them admirable? It's not a single dramatic moment. It's who they consistently are. That is the mark of inner discipline. And when faith drives that discipline, it becomes unshakable. Because when you tie your actions to Allah, setbacks don't break you, failure doesn't define you, and success doesn't intoxicate you. You keep moving, grounded, steady, unstoppable. Consider how this changes even your response to hardship. The world often sees trials as failures, lost jobs, broken plans, health struggles. But Islam reframes them. The Prophet said, "Wondrous is the affair of the believer. Verily, all of his affair is good. If something good happens, he is grateful, and that is good for him. If something bad happens, he is patient, and that is good for him." Do you see the power in that? For the disciplined believer, success is guaranteed, no matter the outcome. Gratitude in blessings builds humility. Patience in hardship builds resilience. Either way you grow, either way you win. Now imagine carrying this mindset into your daily life. You no longer chase success as the world defines it, restless, anxious, always needing more. You anchor yourself in prayer. You sharpen your will through fasting. You soften your heart with charity. You steady yourself with patience. Slowly, success stops being something out there and become something you carry inside you. You can walk into a crowded room full of people chasing money and status, and you remain calm because you already hold what they're desperately searching for. You can face setbacks without breaking because you know Allah's plan is bigger than your own. You can enjoy blessings without arrogance because you know they're gifts, not trophies. This is why Islam insists that true success begins within. Because if you win every outer battle but lose the battle with yourself, what have you gained? But if you master your inner world, if you discipline your soul, then no loss can destroy you, no success can corrupt you, and no storm can shake you. That's why the Qur'an describes the successful as those who purify their souls. He has succeeded who purifies it, and he has failed who corrupts it. Success isn't out there, it's already within you, waiting to be unlocked by discipline and faith. So picture yourself years from now, not just with a bigger paycheck or a nicer home, but as someone whose soul is strong, whose heart is content, whose faith is unshakable. Picture walking through life with that kind of success, peaceful when others are restless, grateful when others are greedy, resilient when others are broken. That is the success Islam offers. And it begins the moment you stop chasing the world and start training the soul. Because when discipline meets faith, you stop living as just another person trying to survive. You start living as someone chosen to thrive in this life and in the life beyond. So here we are, standing at the edge of a truth we can't ignore. Success is not waiting out there in the hands of someone else. It is waiting inside of you, right now, in the choices you make, in the discipline you build, in the faith you live. Fasting trains you, prayer grounds you, charity frees you, life tests you. Each moment is another chance to win the battle within. Each moment is another chance to prove that you are stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fears, stronger than the voice that says, not today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when life gets easier. Now. Now is the time to rise. Now is the time to choose discipline over desire. Now is the time to live the success Allah has already written for you. Because the world will forget your titles. The world will forget your possessions. But it will never forget the impact of a soul disciplined by faith. So ask yourself tonight, when the doors of success open, will you be ready to walk through?